call the local planning agency meeting to order on Tuesday, June 27th at 7 p.m. Before we start, I'd like to say hello and welcome. I'm Chair Adam Miller, and I'll be presiding over this meeting. As we begin, I'd like to review a few housekeeping items for remote participation. Public comment will be solicited during each actionable agenda item. Once I ask for public comment on an item, please click Raise Hand in the GoToWebinar in order to make public comment. Before being individually identified, all members of the public will be muted. Village staff will announce the speaker by stating their name and unmute their audio to allow up to 3 minutes of public comment. When called, please state your name and address for the record and proceed with your comment, speaking clearly during your allotted time. Do not use the chat or question function in the GoToWebinar, as these functions will not be monitored during the meeting, and please limit background noise to the extent possible. As a reminder, this meeting can be viewed live on Comcast Local Channel 18 or streamed at royalpalmbeach.com/YouTube. If everyone please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I think we need to practice that. We're all kind of different times. So, well, welcome everyone. I would like to recognize our newest commission, our alternate commission member, Mr. Williams. Welcome, sir. And happy birthday, Commissioner Perrin.
Oh, thank you.
Just served, so. So we are switching it up. We're doing the local planning agency meeting first. There's just 2 items on the agenda. Christina, can you do a roll call for us, please?
Chairman Adam Miller,
Here.
Vice Chairman Philip Marquis, Commissioner David Leland, Commissioner June Perrin,
Here.
Commissioner Lauren McClellan,
Here.
Kara Kauser, alternate 1, Kamar Williams, alternate 2.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so first item on the agenda is approval of minutes for the May 23rd local planning agency meeting. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner McClellan and seconded by Commissioner Perrin. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Minutes passed 4-0. So our first item on the agenda and only item on this agenda is application number 22-63 TEXT, Royal Palm Brewing Company. The applicant, Royal Palm Brewing Company, is requesting a text amendment to the village's zoning code to amend section 26-75.2 to eliminate the current prohibition on outdoor seating and patron congregation directly abutting residential zoning districts to allow for permanent outdoor seating at brew pubs, breweries, and microbreweries within the village, subject to special exemption use, approval, and additional restrictions specifically requested for a property located at 543 North State Road 7, Suite 103. Mitty?
Thank you. Is the applicant present? Can you gentlemen come to the podium there and give your names for the record? Anybody who's going to be speaking.
All right, George Shetka. Whoa, easy. Hot mic.
Hot mic, very hot mic. I'm going to swear you in. You have an item on the planning and zoning, so I'm going to swear you in now while you're standing there. More so for that application. Can you raise your right hand for me? Do you swear affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you, sir. And this is, for the commission, this is an applicant requested zoning text amendment, so I don't know if Mr. Cheka, you have a presentation. I think Josu does, so let us know who you want to go first.
I'm sorry.
Do you want Josu to give his presentation first? And
Yeah,
then
that's
you can
fine.
answer?
I basically put a PowerPoint together that we had talked about that I submitted with my application. So
Okay.
look at it, not look at it, whatever works for everybody
Okay.
here.
Go ahead, Josu, and then he can give his presentation.
Good evening. Joseph, for the record. The application before you is 22-63. Just one more, I'll read it on the record. The applicant is requesting a zoning text amendment to the Village Code of Amendment Section 26-75.2 and 26-89 to eliminate the current prohibition on outdoor seating and patron congregation directly abutting residential zoning district to allow for permanent outdoor seating at brew pubs, breweries, and microbreweries within the village, subject to special exception use approval and additional restrictions, and increase the square footage limitation from brew pubs and microbreweries from 5,000 square feet to 6,000 square feet. Again, the subject property is located at 543 North State Road 7, Suite 103. This slide illustrates a summary of the proposed text amendment. The additions are underlined, deletions stricken. So as you can see, section 26-75.2 B6, outdoor seating areas or areas of patron congregation directly abutting a residential zoning district are allowed only by special exception use. And section 26-89.3, brew pubs do not exceed 6,000 square feet or gross floor area, subject to section 26-75.2, microbreweries not to exceed 6,000 square feet of gross floor area, subject to section 26-75.2, and microbrewery with outdoor sitting or area of patronage congregation abutting a residential zoning district, subject to section 26-75.2. Staff requests recommendations of approval of application number 22-63 and ordinance number 1036 be submitted to the village council. This concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Josu. Appreciate it. Would you like to make a presentation, sir?
I can do it now if you'd like. It goes for this one and the next. Do I just click on this, or how? Or you want me to do it, or it's the power? It's right here. Yep. Yep. That's enough. All right, presentation mode. Where's that? Should have had a walkthrough before. All right. Just kidding. All right. So again, my name is George Shetka. This is my partners and family and business owners, also Jeff Shetka and Pam Shetka. We are Royal Palm Beach residents, and we operate our brewery. That's our family-owned business. We are Royal Palm Beach's first and only microbrewery, brewery, whatever you want to call us. International award-winning. We've won all sorts of awards that we brought home to us. We've grown to 12 employees, which is actually 13. We actually brought on another one to help us for the weekends. So 13 total employees, and charitable efforts we've done throughout the community, $12,000 plus. Might be higher than that. We haven't checked it since the beginning of the year. Everything from fighting child cancer, we did a beer, to firefighters, firemen, stuff like that. And again, the biggest reason why we're here and why we're bringing this to you is when we first opened 5 years ago, we were told, hey, you can't have this, you can't do it. I said, okay. And then COVID hit, and we were allowed to get it on a temporary basis. As it says here, we had about $200 in our checking account, and almost lost everything until all of a sudden, some of the government things that came along, and especially, most importantly, locally, we were given temporary outdoor seating. And like anything, when you give something to somebody, then you pull it away, there's a huge uproar for that to get it back, to have drinking a beer and eating and just congregating outside. So again, the biggest thing is we are here to provide outdoor seating for our guests. That's as simple as it gets. There are major health benefits, it's cited at the end, but the biggest thing is people spend 90% of their time inside. They want to be outside. It reduces stress, lowers blood pressure, decreases the spread of illness, COVID-19, all sorts of things, of course, and provides uncontaminated airspace to people who have airborne food allergies or also have issues with gluten. Gluten allergies, you cannot come into our place, you will swell up. There's all sorts of barley and everything in the air. And obviously it's also to increase our revenue because outdoor seating is free advertising. People see it and they drive by. And then since 2020, our governor passed into law that for the next 5 years they will increase minimum wage, not only across the board, but also in restaurants. And we are going to see a 77% increase in wages over the next 5 years. And that was 2 years ago we did this, so we're already on our way. And of course, grain is up 50%, hops are up 100%. Everything's coming at us, and we need that extra revenue. We did is we took measurements of the space between the residential walls. Again, it's abutting a residential area, which directly in front of us is Bellaterra Way. There is no homes there. There's nothing like that. There are homes to the left side, which you can see is right here, 208 feet away to the wall to the nearest residence. So we actually did a thing. I couldn't get it to attach to here, but a leaf blower right next to the door is 88 decibels. When we walked all the way to that wall, it rang at 57 decibels is when I did it. I think I can show you the video if you want. And I actually did the same CDC app that measures sound in here while everybody was talking, and it was 57 decibels. So it's the same amount when you're all the way at that wall. One thing with that is we do propose a 10 p.m. closing for outdoor seating. We're open till 10. We're not open late. We don't want concert business. We've never wanted it afterwards. It's too much liability. We don't want any of that. Our peak times with the patrons are between 6 and 8 on the weekends. We do bingo, trivia, all those things. And then also 9 p.m. on the weekends. So really it doesn't make sense for us to be open much after that. Here's from our Square app what our sales are by hour. You can kind of see by the day where it ranges. You can see Oktoberfest, anniversary, all those type of things. But then you can also see on the bottom right where our sales drop off dramatically from that 9 to 10 hours. So there's no reason for us to be out there late to do anything with noise ordinances, anything like that at 11 p.m. We also understand the biggest concern for us, particularly because we're the only brewery in town, as I said before, so it's not like we do this and it's going to open up the floodgates to everybody. We're it. The biggest thing is we understand there's a concern with Bellaterra. They're our neighbors. That's the biggest concern from everybody, and it's obviously the audible portion of it. It wouldn't be the sound or the smell or anything like that. Possibly the site, which we got with Bradford, and we're talking about planter boxes and which ones work and all that. So we're all set on that. But we also have a letter from Bellaterra as far back as 2018 when we opened that said, yeah, we love you guys here. Go ahead and have outdoor seating. We don't mind. So we copied it here. We also submitted it with our application. We've also done their fall festivals every year for the last 3 years. We have a great relationship with them, no issues whatsoever. Obviously decibels, and I'm not a scientist, but this is all stuff I found on the CDC, and really what it tells is normal exposure limit's 85, and normal conversation is 60 decibels. So when you look at it, on average, a human voice has a decibel level of 60. And as a number of doubles, you get 3 more decibels added to the noise level as everything as a double. So 2 people to 4. Now that's talking at the same time, not me having a conversation with you. That's just one person. Now if we're talking at the same time, then it goes up, or if there's 4. So basically, if you look at it, and it's very simple. If it's easier to go 8 to 16. Our patio that we're requesting only holds 12 people, 4 tables, 3 people each, because they're butted against the sides. So you're at 72 decibels, and if everybody's talking at the same time sitting out on the patio, 16 people, not 8 having a conversation with each other, or 16, it's all 16 talking at the same time. So it's very simple. Also, and this is, again, there's all sourced at the end, but for every doubling of the distance, the noise actually decreases by 6 decibels. So as you get further away, obviously the sound gets quieter. So what I did is I put 192 feet, which is our closest space, which is, again, that wall that runs along Bellaterra Way, not our residents that live to the left of us. So what it is by the time you do the math and you work it out, it's 28 decibels by the time it hits that wall. And 28 decibels, I think it's inaudible at 20 decibels. I just looked up. 28's a whisper, right? So you can't hear it. It's science says that you can't. Also put that in here, but again, we know that you guys know better than I do, but the noise ordinance here is 60 for residential and 70 for commercial. We fall well below that, especially, and again, the times are till 11 p.m. with the residential. So again, we want to respect that, and that's why we say we close at 10 o'clock, our outdoor seating and everything else. And in conclusion, like I say, what we're asking for this is the community overwhelmingly supports what we're trying to do. We've been asked about it nonstop for the past 16 months that we've been working on this application. The decibel levels show that we'll fall well within ordinance, and our neighbor Bellaterra has given us permission. They want us there. They don't have a problem with it. They like when we pour beer for their residents at their fall festivals. There's a great relationship. We actually, as we had temporary, we had 0 instances, and that's when we had 35 people outside. We never once had a noise complaint. We never once had the police called because of unruly behavior. We never had to kick people out. We never did any of that stuff. 0 issues. And then, of course, the biggest thing that I guess, and I want to bring to you is the way the code is written currently. If we purchase beer through a distributor, did not brew it and make it ourselves, if he and I didn't physically make it with our own 2 hands, we wouldn't have this problem. We wouldn't have to ask for outdoor seating. We would be granted it just because it falls within the village code, that if we are a bar and we don't produce our own beer and we just bought it, we could have outdoor seating. And that's our biggest thing, is just because we make it, we feel like we're not being allowed to do what everybody else is doing. So if we moved our brewery, and we've talked about that, moving the brewery outside and just distroing in, but it doesn't make financial sense for us to do that, because we'd have to buy our beer from a distributor after we sold it to them. Doesn't make financial sense. The sources are there, but that's really where we're at on this. If you have any questions or...
Thank you, Mr. Schechter. Great presentation. Commissioners, any comments or questions? We'll start with Commissioner Perrin.
The only thing I like is, I kind of like the outdoor area, but just make sure that you do keep the noise levels down low. At 6 o'clock, we're very concerned about our residents, so just be very cautious with that, and make sure that they follow the rules and regulations, and kind of keep the area neat and clean and proper, which I'm sure you already know.
Absolutely.
All right, I appreciate that.
Commissioner McClellan.
I just actually have a question for staff, because I don't want Royal Palm to come back to us after they've been successful after a couple of years, asking to increase the square footage amount. Have you looked at other municipalities and seen what their square footage limitations are? Like, I recognize this was probably initiated by you, and you said 6,000 because that's what you need. But I'm trying to think later on down the road for the success of the business.
So I can answer that partially, what I was told, because I was told it's 6,000 because don't ask for more than that, because what do you need? Not what do you want, what do you need? So the next bay over is because it's on an increments of however it was, I asked for 6,000. We asked for 6,000 because right now we took over the 2 suites. We're under construction. We're doing all those things. We're at 4,976 square feet, and I made absolute sure of that before we had signed the lease. And I called Bradford, and he said, "Yeah, you're good if it's under 5,000." Okay. Once we add that outdoor seating area of 300 square feet, then we go over the 5,000. So that's why we're requesting that. And also, with that said, because I didn't even understand the 5,000 square foot until I talked to Bradford. He says you have to have 5. You can't go over 5 because Lorelei Salon on the corner went out of business, and we could have moved into that space, which would have been about 8,000 square feet with the outdoor seating, and we wouldn't have to worry about the outdoor seating because we're facing 441 now. So that is why we asked for 6. And would we ask for more later down the road? Possibly.
Yeah, but I want to, if this is the code, I'd prefer to catch it now so you don't have to go through the process
Oh, that'd be great.
again. Yeah, so that's what, I just want to see if, like, you looked at other municipalities to see what the,
So what we did originally is we did look at other municipalities and see what they were allowing with the different types of brew pubs, breweries, or just distilleries, right? The square footage that we landed on this time with this application is because of the applicant's request. This is what they requested.
well, would we not want to look at increasing it for, I understand that it's for them, but if this is the code and it's changing for everybody, maybe there's another one down the road that wants to come in, maybe we get somebody that moves in, something like that.
Well, we were originally comfortable with 5,000. That's why we, with the code at 5,000, and this is the request of the applicant to have it at the square footage that they have today.
Thank you.
So that does bring up a good point, though. So if we say business takes off and, boy, this new expansion is whatever, we're pumping out beer, we're doing all the things, and Lorelei is still open, again, that's another 6,000 square feet, Jeff, something like that. So 6,000 square feet. So the reason we lost out on that, our landlord had no patience for us to say, let us go through the process, and if we can get approval, then we'll go that route. And they said, no, you're on the clock. So we said, man, we can't do that. We'll go this way. And so, I mean, and that would be a great thing, because our landlord, I have no problem going through the motions and doing what we need to do. But if our landlord says we can't do it, then we may miss out on an opportunity in the future.
Thank you. Commissioner Williams, do you have any questions or comments?
No questions at this time.
I have no questions or comments either. I'd like to open the floor to public comment on this item. I know you have two items, one on the other agenda, but if anyone has any comments on this item, anyone in the audience? Christina, we have anyone online? Okay, I'd like to close the floor to public comment, and do we have a motion on this item?
I'd like to make a motion on application 22-63, approval as is.
Motion made by Commissioner Perrin. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner McClellan. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion passes 4-0. Congratulations, sir. For the local planning agency, our next meeting is Tuesday, July 25th. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Yes, motion to adjourn.
Okay, we're just going to move
1
on.
minute.
Thank you. Oh, okay.
Oh, she's taking adjournment.
She's making a run for it. Okay. I'm just going to go ahead and to the next meeting. So I'd like to call the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting to order on Tuesday, June 27th at 7:21 p.m. Christina, do you want to, I guess we could just recall
You can
that.
just let the record reflect that the same members, assuming Miss Perrin comes back, are on the dais.
Her purse is here.
We hope so.
She's back.
Sometimes she leaves us guessing. So before we move on to the approval of meeting the minutes, I'd just like to recognize Mr. Santa Maria in the audience. Thank you, sir, and your family. Thank you for being here. Okay. For the minutes for the May 23rd Planning and Zoning Commission meeting, do we have a motion to accept those?
Move approval.
Motion made on the minutes by Commissioner McClellan. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Seconded by Commissioner Perrin, who just got back in. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Minutes pass 4-0. Okay, our first item on this agenda is application number 23-060 AAR Dunkin' Donuts renovation. The applicant, architect Bruce Selinsky, on behalf of Andrade Associates Limited Partnership, is requesting architectural and aesthetic review, AR approval for a renovation of an existing fast food restaurant for a property located at 10140 Okeechobee Boulevard. Committee.
Thank you. Is the applicant present? Can you go to the podium and I'll swear you in and take ex parte disclosures? Your name, sir, for the record?
My name is Bruce Selinsky, the architect for this project.
Thank you, sir. Could you raise your right hand for me? Do you swear affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you, sir. I'll turn to the commission and ask for ex parte disclosures on this item.
No.
Thank you.
Thank you, Committee. Josu.
Good evening again. Joseph for the record. The application before you is 23-060 AAR. The applicant is requesting architectural and aesthetic review approval for modifications to an existing Dunkin' Donut. That includes upgrades to signage, landscape materials, and various other building improvements. The subject property is located within the Fox Properties Plaza at 1040 Okeechobee Boulevard. This slide illustrates the proposed north and signage on the building, north elevation and signage on the building. This slide illustrates the proposed east elevation as well as the proposed signage on the building. This slide illustrates the proposed south elevation. Obviously, there is no sign being proposed on the southern elevation. This slide illustrates the proposed west elevation, no signage proposed. This slide illustrates the existing and proposed monument signs. Staff is recommending approval of application number 23-060 AAR as submitted. And this concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Selinsky, you have anything you'd like to add or presentation? You want to do, sir?
I just would say that, it's good to refresh some of these old buildings as we go, because it starts to look a little tired. And the owner here, Manny Andrade, he's a member of the community, and I think that it's great that he's investing money in the village.
I think this is our third or fourth. We do this every 10 years.
Sir, can you say your name for the record, please?
Yeah. Manuel Andrade.
And let me swear you in, sir. Can you raise your right hand? Do you swear affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Go ahead.
We do remodels every 10 years. It's by franchise agreement. So this is, I think, our third or fourth already. Building's tired. It just needs a new lift. We're trying to make it look like this other one over here. So that's what we're here for.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Okay, commissioners, have any comments? Commissioner Williams?
No comments.
Commissioner McClellan?
No.
Commissioner Perrin?
No comments.
I agree. Just, it looks like a great refresh. Looking forward to it. Okay, I'd like to open the floor to public comment. Anyone in the audience like to say anything? Do we have anyone online? Okay, I'll close the floor to public comment. Do we have a motion on this item?
I move approval, application 2360.
Motion made by Commissioner McClellan. Do I have a second?
I second
Seconded by Commissioner Williams. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passes 4-0. Congratulations, gentlemen.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So moving on to application number 23-070AR, Village Shops Phase 4. The applicant, Dov Werdiger, on behalf of JBL Village Shops LLC, is requesting architectural and aesthetic review, approval for Phase 4 of a facade refinish that involves the remaining freestanding building, Building 1, that was not included in application numbers 20-122 and 22-172 for a property located at 10101 to 10499 Southern Boulevard. Mitty?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Is the applicant present? Can you, whoever's going to speak, can you approach the podium and give your names for the record, and I'll swear you in?
Good evening. My name is Michael Rem for the applicant.
Thank you, sir. Can you raise your right hand for me? Yeah, perfect. Do you swear affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. I'll turn back to the commission for any ex parte disclosures.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Joseph?
Thank you. The application before you is 23-70 AAR. The applicant is requesting architectural and aesthetic review approval for the facade refinish of the last phase of the project that involves work on the remaining freestanding building that was not included in previous application numbers 22-122 and 22-172. Phase 4 includes the entire building 1. This slide illustrates the proposed materials used for the new facades. This slide illustrates the existing facades as well as paint and proposed changes taking place on the site. Staff is recommending approval of application number 23-070 AAR as submitted, and this concludes my presentation.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Rem?
Yes.
Rem? Sorry. Do you have a presentation? You'd like to add anything?
I don't have a presentation. I just wanted to, first of all, thank the commission and staff for your time tonight, your consideration of this item. This phase 4, truthfully, was an unforeseen phase when we started this facade renovation project. We acquired the property in 2018. It was a little tired. We first undertook a 3-phase facade renovation project for the out parcels right on the intersection and the main center. We liked the way it turned out so much that we decided to do the last building on site. Since we acquired the property in 2018, we've been making a series of upgrades, both minor in even just changing the heads and the sprinklers to be white instead of silver, to major renovations like this that are quite they're an investment on our part. We're looking forward to continuing to invest in the property and make it a beautiful piece of real estate that's enjoyed by both our tenants and visitors and residents. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Commissioners, Commissioner McCullen? Any questions? Commissioner Perrin?
Oh, no questions. Just like to say, I like the fact that you're upgrading it and refurbishing and making it look pretty, enhancing it, because we do like our neighborhood to look pretty all the time. So it's good work.
Commissioner Williams? and I'll just concur with Commissioner Perrin. I think it looks much better than it did,
Thank
and we appreciate that. Okay, I'd like to open the floor to public comment on this item. Anyone online? Okay, I'll close the floor to public comment. Do we have a motion on this item?
I'll make a motion to approve application 23-070 as is.
Motion made by Commissioner Perrin. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner McClellan. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes 4-0. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, application number 23-076 AR, Sunoco Signage. The applicant, Art Sign Company, on behalf of 1009 Enterprises LLC, is requesting architectural and aesthetic review approval to update the existing signage on site for a property located 1009 North State Road 7. Mitty.
Thank you, sir. Is the applicant present? Nobody here for this one? All right, with that, I'll ask for ex parte disclosures. Nobody's online. Christina, is that right? No applicants? Okay, any ex parte disclosures on this item?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Sir?
Thank you, Chairman. The application before you is 23-076 AR. Architecture and aesthetic review approval has been proposed in order to upgrade Sunoco's existing canopy and monument signs to reflect their current trademark logo. This slide illustrates the existing south and east canopy signs. This slide illustrates the proposed north, south, and east canopy signs on the property. And this is the existing and proposed changes to the monument sign. Staff is recommending approval of application number 23-076 AR as submitted. And this concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. I know the applicant's not here and still no one online. Commissioners, any discussion? Commissioner Williams? Commissioner McClellan?
No.
Commissioner Perrin?
No, nothing, no, thank you.
I don't either. I'd like to open the floor to public comment on this item. Anyone online? Okay, I'll close the floor to public comment. And do we have a motion on this item?
I'll make a motion to approve application 23-076.
Motion made by Commissioner Williams. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner McClellan. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes 4-0. We are moving right along. Next item is application number 22-113 SE, Lilac Beauty Spa. The applicants, Jess Santa Maria and Lilibeth Leon, are requesting special exemption approval to allow a state licensed massage therapist establishment within the general commercial zoning district for property located 675 Royal Palm Beach Boulevard. Mitty?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As they approach the podium, I'll need to swear everybody in who intends to speak. And while they're approaching, I'll ask for ex parte disclosures from the commission. All right. Ladies, your name for the record?
Anna Pedroso,
Thank you. Your name, ma'am?
Lily Beth Leon.
Thank you. And the gentleman behind you?
Chris Santa Maria and Jess Santa Maria.
Thank you. Can you all raise your right hands?
Yeah, Jess Santa Maria.
Thank you, sir. Raise your right hands for me, all of you. Do you all swear affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mitty. Josu?
Thank you, Chair. The application before you is application number 23-113, special exception for Lilac Beauty. The applicant is seeking special exception, use approval to allow a state licensed massage therapist establishment on a property currently constructed and a site planned as a commercial shopping center known as Royal Land Plaza. The property is situated within the general commercial zoning district and is located at 675 Royal Palm Beach Boulevard. The impacted suite is suite number 132. And reviewing the proposed special exception, village staff considered compatibility with the land use, consistency with the village comprehensive plan, and conformance with the village development standards for the general commercial zoning district, more specifically whether the proposed special exception is consistent with the standards of the village comprehensive plan or complies with all development regulations or of the village code, or does not have any adverse environmental impact which cannot be prevented by the imposition of conditions, or does not have adverse vehicular or pedestrian traffic impact, or does not have an adverse impact upon public facility, or does not have adverse impact on adjacent properties, and the special exception is compatible with the character and living conditions of the existing neighborhood. And the proposed special exception does not have an adverse impact on property values in adjacent areas and is not a deterrent to the improvement of development or adjacent properties. And the proposed special exception will not seriously reduce the quality or quantity of light and air available to adjacent properties, which cannot be prevented by the imposition of conditions. Staff has determined that the proposed special exception conforms to village standards and therefore is requesting a recommendations of approval of application number 23-113, special exception, and resolution number 23-21. This concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, would the applicants have a presentation? You want to add anything to that?
Chris Santa Maria for the Royal Inn. At the Royal Inn, we have a little 400 square foot space that's between the Barber's Inn barber shop and the Asador Patagonia restaurant. So there are some commercial tenants that this is nestled in between. Previously, there was a hair salon, a one-man operation. He's since moved out, and now we've brought a woman that wants to operate a massage business, a one-table masseuse for massages and ancillary facial business. She's here to answer any questions if you had regarding the what type of services, but again, it's just a one-person. We don't anticipate it's going to be one appointment at a time, so it won't add any traffic other than one client coming in at a time during normal business hours. So that's pretty much it.
Thank you, sir. Okay, commissioners, do we have any questions? We'll start with Commissioner McClellan.
Nope.
Commissioner Williams? Commissioner Parent?
No questions or comments. I just hope you do good massages. We'll be there. All the best.
I have no questions either, so I'd like to open the floor to public comment. Is there anyone online? Okay, I'll close the floor to public comment, and can we have a motion on this item?
I'll make a motion on application 22-113 SE as is.
Motion made by Commissioner Parent. Do I have a second?
I second that motion.
Second
Just-
by,
I'm sorry, just for the record, Ms. Perrin, your motion was to approve.
Was for approval, yes.
Thank you.
and then seconded by Commissioner Williams. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passes 4-0. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good to see you,
Thank
Mr.
you. All
Santa Maria.
When are you opening up? Did I ask that question before? When are you opening? This month?
We still have
Okay, all right, keep me posted. Thank you. You're welcome.
Item 6. Oh, okay. Oh, I got it. Thank you. Okay, moving on to the next item, application number 22-64 SE, Royal Palm Brewing Company. The applicant, Royal Palm Brewing Company, is requesting special exception use approval to allow for a microbrewery with outdoor seating or area of patronage congregation abutting a residential zoning district within the general commercial zoning district for a property located 543 North State Road 7, Suite 103. Mitty, I'll pass it to you.
Thank you. The applicant's been sworn. I'll just ask for ex parte disclosures on this item. Thank you.
Sir?
Thank you, Chairman. Obviously, this item is related to the earlier items. The ordinance got approved or recommendation for approval to council. So this application before you is 22-64. The applicant is proposing to expand the existing brewery with outdoor seating or area of patron congregation, which resulted in the requirement for special exception use approval. And reviewing the proposed special exception, village staff considered compatibility with the adjacent land uses, consistency with the village comprehensive plan, and conformance with the village development standards for the general commercial zoning district, more specifically, whether the proposed special exception is consistent with the standards of the village comprehensive plan or complies with all development regulations of the village code, or does not have any adverse environmental impact, or does not have adverse vehicular or pedestrian traffic impact, or does not have an adverse impact upon public facilities, that the proposed special exception does not have adverse impact on adjacent properties, or is compatible with the character and living conditions of the existing neighborhood in which it is to be located, or do not have an adverse impact on property values in adjacent areas, is not a deterrent to the improvement or development of adjacent properties, that the proposed special exception with will not seriously reduce the quality or quantity of light and air available to adjacent properties, which cannot be prevented by imposition of conditions. Staff has determined that proposed special exception conforms to village standards and therefore is requesting a recommendation of approval of application number 22-64 and resolution number 23-22. This concludes my presentation.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Schechter, you have anything to add or additional presentation?
No, not really.
Thank you, sir. Commissioners, Commissioner Parent?
No comments or questions? No.
Commissioner McClellan?
No comments or questions?
Commissioner Williams?
No comments, questions.
Just thank you for being a visit here in Royal Palm Beach, and we appreciate you guys.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay, so I'd like to open the floor to public comment on this item. Nope. Anyone online? Oh, awesome. Okay, I'll close the floor to public comment. And do we have a motion on this item?
I move approval application number 2264.
Motion made by Commissioner McClellan. Do I have a second?
I second that motion.
Seconded by Commissioner Williams. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passes 4-0. Congratulations, Shechtas. Have a good night. Thank you. Okay. Moving on to the next application, application number 23-041, LW, Royal Palm Beach Health and Rehabilitation. The applicant, Frank Bainham, Red and Associates, is requesting landscape waiver approval for 3 landscape waivers from 1, Section 15-131B1 to allow for a 20-foot landscape buffer where village code requires 25 feet, a waiver of 5 feet along the length of the buffer to allow emergency access. 2, Section 15-131B2 to allow for a 0-foot berm within landscape buffers where village code requires a 3-foot berm, a waiver of 3 feet. And 3, Section 15-131B3 to allow for greater than 20-foot spacing of canopy trees within the west buffer where village code requires canopy trees to be spaced a maximum of 20 feet on center for a property located at 600 Business Parkway.
Thank you, sir. Sir, could you state your name for the record?
Frank, excuse me, Frank Bainham.
Thank you, sir. And you have the next 3 items, so I'll swear you in once, and then you'll be set. Can you raise your right hand for me? Do you swear affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you, sir. And I'll turn back to the commission and ask for ex parte disclosures on just this item. Thank you.
Thank you. Jesse?
Thank you, Chairman. The request has already been read and onto the record, so I'll just go ahead and move on to the next aspect of the waivers. So waiver number 1 is, this is a landscape plan that shows the location of the 5-foot encroachment of the stabilized fire truck access into the perimeter landscape buffer along the southern property line. So this area is highlighted in green on your screen. And this is the landscape plan that identifies waiver number 2. So the landscape plan shows the location where the berms are proposed to be eliminated, and the area is highlighted in red. And this is pertaining to waiver number 3. The landscape plan shows the location where the spacing of trees will be greater than 20 foot on center, and it's highlighted in green. Staff requests a recommendation of approval to be submitted to the Village Council regarding application 23-041 landscape waiver, and landscape waiver number 23-03. This concludes the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Bainham, do you have any presentation, sir, or anything you'd like to
We
add?
do, and I think some of our exhibits are a little more accurate to what we're actually asking for, so it might be good to. So, to show my screen.
Do you know which one is yours? Or PVC? Can you send it over? There you go. Yeah.
For those that don't know, this facility is Royal Palm Beach Health and Rehabilitation Center. It's an existing facility that's been there almost 40 years. It started, I guess they came through initially in 1983 and actually opened in 1984. They desire to do a small expansion, add 20 rooms, and in order for us to be able to do that, we have to come forward with these landscape waivers. Project site is at the end of Business Parkway, surrounded on three sides by residential. You can see the existing facility there on the right, and then in white and gray is what the proposed expansion is. The landscape waivers there's three of them. The first one is for the buffers, a landscape buffer that's required on the south property line is 25 feet, and we need to put in a emergency access stabilized surface so that fire trucks or whatever can get back behind the building. And we want to overlap that by 20 feet, by 5 feet. So, and this is the section of the roadway that, and when I say roadway, it's a stabilized surface. It will be sod. The sod will be in the landscape buffer by 5 feet. It won't change the amount of landscaping that we put in at all because it's just a mere 5-foot overlap. And then the fire trucks or whatever will be able to circulate around to the back of the building if they need to. This is an existing photo of what's there now, so you can see the residences on the left. There will be a berm with all the required landscaping in that first 20 feet, and then the access lane will be kind of on the flat spot that you see. Waiver number 2. This plan kind of represents what we're doing, kind of what we're doing on the site. We're not just doing the building expansion and the extra parking that we need. Because that facility has been there so long, and the buffers, some of the buffers weren't even required to be planted initially. So what has happened is a lot of invasives have grown up, and we're required to bring the site up to code. So when we do that, all the dark planting that you see is planting that will be new. Everything in the lighter shade will be existing trees. So there were existing oaks that were required when they built the facility, and on that west property boundary, they're still there, and they're tip to tip. It's a very solid buffer, as you can see by some of the photos. Oops. But where those trees are, we're required to have a 3-foot berm. But where those trees are, we don't want to put the berm there because that would be detrimental to those existing trees. So it makes a lot of sense to not have to put that buffer in there. We will still underplant with a hedge so that we have a solid screen between us and the neighbors. But just where those trees still exist as in their state, would like to not have to put that berm in. In waiver 3, those existing canopy trees, again, we were supposed to, by code, you have to have trees 20 feet on center. I don't know what the code was in 1983, but trees weren't planted 20 feet on center. And the farthest away we have any existing trees is 28.5 feet. So we're asking that we, for this project, be in those areas, have it be 30 feet so that we don't have to take out trees just to plant new trees in, especially since they're already mature and they're doing the job that they were meant to do, if that makes sense. And that's it.
Thank you, sir. So commissioners, any comments, questions, or discussions on this item? Start with Commissioner Williams.
No comments.
Commissioner McCollum?
No.
Comments or questions?
I don't either. I'd like to open the floor, before we open the, well, I'm gonna open the floor to public comment. I know we have 2 speakers signed up to speak. Mr. Knutson and Ms. Knutson. Please note we have 3 items for this, so if you have any comments on this particular item, for waiver number, the first one, if you wanna come on up, you can come up to the podium here and make any comments. I'm sorry.
Rigid is needed just for the item 6.
And Mr. Chair, sir, if you could state your name and address for the record.
My eyes focus for one moment. Paul Knudsen, the address 1360 Donwood Lane.
And you have 3 minutes, Mr. Knudsen, okay, on this item.
Commissioners, thank you for allowing residents to express their comments and concerns regarding the request for waivers, variances, and site plan modification approval in regards to items 6, 7, and 8 requested by Royal Palm Beach Health and Rehabilitation. My wife and myself have resided in Counterpoint since 1985, which is prior to the village of Royal Palm Beach annexing Counterpoint. The nursing home, as we have always called it, has been there many years also. The long-term tranquility of the existing nursing home facility has shown no stress nor burden in regards to our home or lifestyle. After having read and reread in an attempt to grasp and understand why Royal Palm Beach Health and Rehabilitation would need these waivers, variances, and site plan modification approvals approved, essentially finds each item to be cost or money oriented and not truly in the best interest of nearby residents. Allowing the requested details of item 6 deviates from the village's accepted guidelines in a negative way, lessening the buffer, permitting no berm to be placed, and in a community so focused on trees and requires replacement of trees by village residents when trees are removed, why the village would allow less than the minimum expected number of trees based on spacing offers up the attitude that residents are less important than these requests. Skipping down, because I get the other 2. Therefore, I hold the position that the request be denied in full. Royal Palm Beach Health and Rehabilitation, if they care to expand, can comply with current guidelines and codes as any other resident is expected to do. The entire proposal gives the appearance to be based on decreasing cost of the project for the facility. With that, since Royal Palm Beach Health and Rehabilitation is generating income and offers nothing of a benefit to nearby residents, Royal Palm Beach Health and Rehabilitation can bear the burden of expenses to be in compliance with existing village guidelines and shall present themselves as the best neighbor they can be. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Knudsen.
Okay, that was for item 6.
Item 6 only. Is there any other public comment on this item? Floor? Anyone online, Christina? Okay, I'll close the floor to public comment. And do we have a motion on this item?
I move approval of application 2341.
Motion made by Commissioner McClellan. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Seconded by Commissioner Perrin. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? This motion passes 4-0. Okay, application number 23-042 VAR, Royal Palm Beach Health and Rehabilitation. The applicant, Frank Banham of Redden Associates, is requesting a variance from section 26-934H to eliminate the required 8-foot high masonry wall along the north, south, and west property lines where village code requires industrial general zone properties adjacent to residential districts to install an 8-foot high masonry wall for a property located at 600 Business Parkway. Minnie?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The applicant's been sworn, so I'll just ask the commission for ex parte disclosures.
No.
Thank you.
Sir?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The application before you is 23-042, variance for Royal Palm Beach Health and Rehabilitation. The applicant is requesting a variance from section 26-934H to allow for the elimination of the required 8-foot high masonry wall along the north, south, and west property line. Of course, this is for the subject property located at 600 Business Parkway. This slide illustrates the highlighted in green is an illustration of the landscape plan showing the locations where the wall will be eliminated. So the north, west, and south property line. And Village Code Section 26-32 F6 allows the Village Council to grant variances when special conditions and circumstances exist which are peculiar to the land, structure, or building involved, do not result from the actions of the applicant, will not confer on the applicant any special privilege. A literal interpretation of the provisions of this division will deprive the applicant of rights commonly enjoyed by other properties. That the variance granted is a minimum variance that will make possible the reasonable use of the land, building, structure, and will be in harmony with the general intent and purpose of this division, and will not be injurious to the area involved or detrimental to the public welfare. Village staff is not in support of this variance because staff believes that no special conditions or circumstances exist which are not applicable to other lands. Granting of the variance will confer on the applicant special privileges that are denied to other lands. The literal interpretation of the code does not deprive the applicant the right enjoyed by other lands and the same zoning district, and that is not the minimum variance necessary to allow reasonable use of the property. So therefore, staff requests a recommendation of denial of application number 23-042 and variance order number VC-23-03 be submitted to the Village Council. And this concludes my presentation.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Bainham, do you have any additional presentation on this item?
Yeah, we got a little bit of we could show some things, but I don't know if they're really necessary. I think our biggest point is right now that facility has been there for almost 40 years. And as Mr. Knudsen said, it's not a detriment to the community. It's a skilled nursing facility. We want to add short-term rehabilitation to the facility, and it's not going to change how the property functions. It's still a good neighbor to residential unit or residential housing around it. People do live there. It's, you know, they mostly live inside. It's a very quiet facility. There's no excess noise and things like that take place on the property. If it were me and I lived next door, I would not want an 8-foot concrete wall in my backyard. It's a great visual barrier. It's not a great thing to look at. And I think that probably the bigger thing is it changes the climate in your yard. It prevents breeze to come from one direction to the other. It's not something I would want in my backyard if I lived in this neighborhood. And I think that's probably the biggest reason that I wouldn't want it. We are going to have a 6-foot hedge plus all the necessary trees that are required by code. We don't want to take out the fully grown trees that are there just so we can plant new trees at 8 or 20 foot on center. I'd rather have a 50-foot oak or 2 50-foot oaks 28 feet apart from each other than, you know, 2 14-foot oaks at planting that are 20 feet away from each other. So that's kind of how we feel about it. And we'd rather keep the native buffer that's there as opposed to take down and replace with a wall that bounces sound off of it, and everybody that lives around that neighborhood is going to have to extend their fences to meet that wall as opposed to leaving what's there now. It's doesn't seem like a good thing for them as much as anything.
Okay, thank you, sir. Commissioners, Commissioner Perrin?
I'm not sure about this one. They want, he doesn't want the wall, and I understand your point and your view. But the wall is necessary to prevent the noise, or?
The wall is because we're in an industrial zone. We're not an industrial use. We're going to be allowed there by special exception. So we're not even the type of project that would be there that would require a wall. And that's another reason why we think we shouldn't have to have one. The other part of the business park, where they've got body shops and all those kind of things with a lot of noise and all those kind of things, I would want that wall between me and them, but we have setbacks on all sides. We have on the north side, it's in every case, every side of the property, we have at least double the required setback to the building, and it's all planting. They won't see that. I mean, right now, the people that are on the north side, they have a 300-foot view over lake, open space, trees, before you even get to the building. On the west side, it's, I think, 52 feet, and on the south side, it's over 70 feet. So it's going to change their neighborhood by putting a wall up. I don't know if anybody knows anybody that lives right on I-95, and when they put those big 20-foot walls up, it destroys it creates a different climate in their backyard because of that, and it's not a positive change. It shuts down the noise, but it's not a good thing for wildlife and all those things that live in the plants.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Commissioner McClellan?
Joseph, if this senior housing facility were located in a commercial zoning district, or I can't remember if they're allowed in residential or not, but if it was in a different zoning district than industrial, what would the buffer requirement be? Would it require a wall, fence, no wall, no fence?
I don't remember from the top of my head, but typically whenever commercials are budding residential, there is some sort of buffering, whether it's a wall or landscape that is required, but I don't remember exactly from the top of my head.
I've never seen one where it was required to be a 8-foot concrete masonry wall.
Commissioner Williams? Okay. I have no questions. I'd like to open the floor to public comment. Mr. Newsom, Ms. Newsom, would you like to make a comment since you guys signed up first? Remember this item. Remember on the wall.
Yes, sir, for the record. And if you could get a little closer to the microphone so that the recording picks you up. Thank you, sir.
Sure enough. Paul Knudsen, 1360 Donwoods Lane. Can you reset it? My eyes got to refocus here. Sorry. Again, thank you for having us here. And, you know, I won't read my preface again because you've already heard it and heard my concerns regarding, you know, some of the stuff with this and our longevity of living in Counterpoint near the nursing home, almost adjacent to it. And while I do appreciate this gentleman's comments regarding certain aspects of the wall and what people can and cannot see, he is correct that the north side does have a lake. It's been there a long time, and those residents within the Willows are very fortunate to have that buffer. However, on Donwoods Lane, I have neighbors that their property butts up against the nursing home. And he mentioned like a 50-foot margin or whatever. Well, for fact, I know that they have used that field, that meadow behind the nursing home to bring Traumahawk in there multiple times. And, you know, they don't bring the Traumahawk into a postage stamp. So it's a pretty large area. And as far as the vegetation and what we see, it's not well kept. I'm not going to pick on his property or anything, but it would be an improvement if it were better kept. But in regards to the wall, the theory that it's going to change the airflow through someone's backyard or whatever, I think that's a little bit far-reaching. And my opinion is, if he's in an industrial park or the building is in an industrial park, they should comply with it. Because myself, if it was directly in my backyard, I would not want to overlook and see this every time I come out into my backyard. And if you pull up the site plans of the homes there, the backyards are very, very small. So it's not as if they've got, a 70 or 100-foot buffer from their back door to where this wall would be. It's fairly small, probably in the neighborhood of 40 feet. So getting specific about it, Item 7 presents such a contradictory expectation that residents should bear the burden of seeing this building and hearing any noise generated by it, simply based on Royal Palm Beach Health and Rehabilitation not wanting to construct the as required by Village Code an 8-foot masonry wall. Omitting the wall, and this is the specific item, is truly the worst request and should be not denied. I welcome y'all to go down Counterpoint, take a drive through there and see exactly where the property line that they have and where the houses that are impacted by this wall or by this expansion even, how close they really are to these homes. And it's going to have a negative effect on it. Fortunately, we fell within that 300-foot range, but we're offside just slightly. All right, my time's up. I won't go further.
Thank you, Mr. Knudsen. Appreciate you. Okay, any other public comment on this item? Anyone online? Okay, I'll close the floor to public comment. Do we have a motion on this item?
I move approval of application 2342.
Okay, motion made by Commissioner McClellan. Do I have a second? Okay. We don't have a second. Okay, so commissioners, maybe if there's any other comments or discussion we want to have on this item, and then we can maybe ask for another motion at that time. Commissioner McClellan, maybe you want to share anything you were thinking?
Yeah, I was just looking at the Village Code, and it's the only time that a wall is required for a use is when it's an industrial use or industrial district next to residential. When it's commercial, or it looks like when it's multifamily, it doesn't look like there's a wall that's required when it's next to residential, unless I'm missing something in here. So that was why I made the motion to approve, because this is, in essence, a residential use next to residential.
Okay. Commissioner Williams or Commissioner Perrin, any comments?
Josette, why is the Royal Palm Beach is denying this application? What is your particular reason?
So typically, any application, or variance application that goes against the code, we are required not to support it because obviously it's going against the requirements of the reasons why we're here to make sure that we uphold the code. So whenever someone is asking for a variance, we are required to actually propose denial because it's going against the code.
The zoning, as staff has said, the zoning is industrial. However, I'm of the opinion that while it is an industrial zone property, the use that's on there, and it's a special exception use, is a residential use. Therefore, if the residential use were to go away and an industrial use were to ever be developed on the property, they would have to go through this process and they would have to put a wall up. Or that application would have to come in and do a variance.
I think Commissioner Williams is on that, sir.
Yes, and since I was on the impression that if at any time they could change the usage to be industrial and that wall wouldn't have to be built for anyone else coming to the property. But knowing that does definitely just change my mind.
Okay, so you can make a motion. I'm not allowed to make a motion, Chair, so you guys can make a motion to approve or disapprove this item. So I'll ask for a motion again.
All right, so I'll make a motion to approve item 23042.
So motion made to approve the item by Commissioner Williams. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner McClellan. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion passes 4-0. On the second. Okay.
Mr. Chair, just for the record, was that all 4 affirmative votes?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, moving on to number 8, application number 22-126 SPM SEAAR, Royal Palm Beach Health and Rehabilitation Center. The applicant Bainham of Redden Associates is requesting site plan modification approval for upgrades to the site, including construction of an approximately 15,291 square foot expansion of the existing structure to add 20 beds to the existing 120 bed facility. Special exception use approval to allow for a senior housing facility within the industrial general zoning district. And architectural approval for exterior updates, including paint, new metal roof, doors, and screen walls, and courtyard improvements for property located at 600 Business Parkway. Mitty?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And every time I hear you read one of those, I think we're shortening those little blurbs you have to read, but at that one we missed the mark, so I'm sorry for that.
You guys are testing me.
Yeah,
That's okay.
I'm sorry for that one.
No
The
worries.
applicant has been sworn, but I will ask the commission for ex parte disclosures.
No.
Thank you.
Josu?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The application before you is 22-126 SPM SEAAR. The applicant is requesting site plan modification approval for upgrades to the site, including constructions of an approximately 15,291 square foot expansion of the existing senior housing facility to add 20 beds to the existing 120 bed facility. Special exception use approval to allow for a senior housing facility within the industrial general zoning district, and architectural approval for exterior updates, including paint, new metal roofs, doors, and screen walls, and courtyard improvements. Once again, this property is located at 600 Business Parkway. Just a brief history on the project, why they're also required to request a special exception. Originally, the property received approval for site plan application and development application in 1983 to allow a nursing and convalescent care center within the industrial zoning district, and on July 2015, ordinance number 905 was approved by Village Council to create an entirely new special exception use called senior housing facility, along with supplemental regulations. That ordinance also removed nursing and convalescent care center as a permitted use within the industrial general zoning district. Also, subsequently, on June 16, 2022, the Village Council approved ordinance number 1026, which allows senior housing facilities within the general industrial zoning district as a special exception use. So this is why, even though the facility currently exists, they're just expanding the use, but because of those events that took place, they're required to go through this special exception request. This is an illustration of the site plan and the proposed 15,291 square feet building addition. We try to highlight the proposed addition in red. Hopefully you guys can see it. And this slide illustrates the proposed landscape plan. It's one of many. This is also the proposed landscape plan. This is also a portion of the proposed landscape plan. And this is the proposed north, south, and west elevations. Obviously, the expansion is connecting to the existing building on the east side. And reviewing the proposed special exception, village staff considered compatibility with adjacent land uses consistent with the village comprehensive plan and conformance with the village development standards for consistency with the village comprehensive plan and conformance with the village development standards for the industrial zoning district, more specifically whether the proposed special exception is consistent with the standards of the village comprehensive plan, complies with all development regulations of the village code, does not have any adverse environmental impacts, does not have adverse vehicular or pedestrian traffic impacts, does not have an adverse impact upon public facility, does not have adverse impacts on adjacent properties. Also, the special exception is compatible with the character and living conditions of the existing neighborhood in which it is to be located. that the proposed special exception does not have an adverse impact on property values in adjacent areas and is not a deterrent to the improvement or development of adjacent property. The proposed special exception will not seriously reduce the quality or quantity of light and air available to adjacent properties, which cannot be prevented by the impositions of conditions of approval. Staff is recommending approval of application number 22-126 SPM SEAR and resolution number 23-20 be submitted to Village Council. And this recommendation, of course, is contingent upon approval of the requested variance, which you guys just approved. This concludes my presentation, and I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Bainham, anything to add, sir?
I have some other things that you can look at if you need to see them. This is why we're here, obviously. The first two items allowed us to get here. So they are expanding this facility they're adding 20 rooms, but they're also reconfiguring some of the existing rooms. So they're going to be a total of 134 as opposed to 140. This use is a needed use in every community. Short-term surgical rehabilitation is, replacing knees, replacing hips. My mom's gone through both of those. It's not fun, and to have a facility that's close to your house that you can either have your wife or husband or mother or father, be able to utilize. It's a great benefit instead of having to try to do it at home, which is not a great thing, or to have to travel a long distance to get to. So it's a great benefit for the community.
Thank you, sir. Okay, commissioners. Commissioner Perrin, any comments or questions?
No comments or questions.
Commissioner McCullough?
No comments or questions.
No comments or questions. I have a question. So when this addition is added, how far from the property line?
I believe it's 52 feet, and the setback is 35, I believe.
Okay. Thank you. I don't have any more questions. I'd like to open the floor to public comment. Mr. Nason, would you like to make some more comments on this item, sir?
Once again, Paul Knudsen, 1360 Donwoods Lane. In regards to item 8, and I'm not opposed to progress and so forth, the expansion of the facility, if it is approved, it essentially moves the entire complex closer to these homes along Donwoods Lane. You've already allowed them not to build the wall for separation of the property and so forth. So it confuses me why this is even allowed. And in regards to noise, they want to build 15,000 square feet. Well, I don't know of a dump truck that's quiet. I don't think Tesla's making them yet. So we are going to feel that over the short term. And on a long term, he presents the idea of, a surgical facility and so forth. Well, in my mind, that's, emergency vehicles and other vehicles coming in there. So I'm very confused about some of the decisions that were made, but that's neither here nor there. But, with that, there's no assurance that the quality of life, including the home values, will not be detrimentally affected by this. It's very sad, what I'm seeing, and I respect your votes and so forth, but I do welcome you to go along Donwoods and just see how close this really is. It's just stunning. But, so again, I hold the position that, and you've already voted on some, that everything be denied, and anything that they want to do should be in compliance with the current code. He brought forward a point about the tree spacing and whatnot. Well, that was when it was Palm Beach County. It wasn't the Village of Royal Palm. So I'm sure there's a deviance there as to what he has versus what he wants and what you're allowing him to do. So I know for a fact that even though my home was Palm Beach County when we bought it in 1985, we've come to the village on several occasions requesting a deviance, for a shed or this or that. And I was told straight out forget it, it's not going to happen. You need to get a lawyer, you need to get this, and I only wanted a foot difference on a shed location, not 75 feet of building brought closer to someone's backyard. I just, I'll end it at that. No disrespect to any of you. I appreciate the great job that you do for the village and so forth. And yes, we're, lifetime as long as we could be, having been annexed in and so forth. And we've seen some great changes. We've seen some things that we didn't really care for too. But this one really is close to home. And thank you for sending out the memo to invite us here. And I hope your decisions are just and sound.
Thank you, Mr. Knudsen. Any other public comment? Anyone online, Christina? Okay, I'll close the floor to public comment. Can we have a motion made on this item?
I'll make a motion on application 22-126.
Motion to approve or
To approve,
okay.
yes.
Motion made by Commissioner Perrin. Do I have a second?
I second that motion.
Second by Commissioner Williams. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passes 4-0. I would like to let Knudsens know this item, we just approve it to go on to the village council. There will be a village council meeting. If you still disagree with this item, I would suggest you go to the next village council meeting and share your thoughts there. I think they would receive the same memo, sir. Right? Yeah, I believe they would have. Yes. Okay. Thank you, sir. Okay, thank you, Mr. Beda. Okay, our next meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission is Tuesday, July 25th. Do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
All in favor?
Second.
Aye. Motion is adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening. Thank you, Josie. Thank you, Mitty.